Important terminology for the SAT. To take the average of a set of numbers, you first take their sum by adding them together, and then divide them by how many there are. Here there is 3, so we divide by 3. If you have 4, we divide by 4, and so on. Let's say we have a set of numbers 10, 1, and 4. If we want to take the average of these, we would add them up. 10 plus 1 plus 4 is going to equal to 15. And then we would divide 15 by 3 because there's 3 numbers here. 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5. So the average of 10, 1, and 4 is 5. This is also sometimes called a mean. You hear the word consecutive, it means next to. So consecutive integers would be integers that are next to each other. For example, if you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, these are next to each other. You can also go backwards, you can add 0, or you can add 5. As long as they would all be next to each other on the number line, then they are consecutive. If we have the set 14, 16, 18, and 20, and they ask if these are consecutive even integers, well, let's see. 14, the next even integer would be, you would add 2, that would be 16. The next even would be 18, and then 20. So yes, these would be consecutive. If you had the set 11, 12, 13, and 15, and they asked if these were consecutive odd integers, well, let's start with 11. To find the next odd integer, we would add 2, and that would be 13. But no, we have a 12 in here. So even though we have the next odd integers 13 and 15 over here, this set would not be consecutive odd integers because we have this 12 here. If we took out the 12, then yes, 11, 13, and 15 are consecutive odd integers of a number are when you multiply a number by an integer. So if we have 7, multiples of 7 would be if we multiply 7 by anything else. So 7 times 2 would be 14. 7 times 3 would be 21. 7 times 4 would be 28. You can see here we are just adding 7 each time. So these would be consecutive multiples of 7. If we needed to find multiples of 3, we would just keep adding 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9, we have 12, and 15. We'd also skip and just do 3 times, 12, and we'd get 36. And these are all multiples of 3. If you divide any of them by 3, you will get an integer. If you need a refresher on integers or all the different classifications and types of numbers, inclusive and exclusive are similar to the concepts of an open and closed interval. Inclusive would be similar to a closed interval. So you have the closed interval represented by brackets from A to B. You would include the endpoints A and B in your interval. But if you have an open interval, this would be exclusive because you would not include the endpoints A and B in your interval. It would only be everything in between A and B. So let's look at some examples. Let's say you are asked to find all even integers from 2 to 8 and list them consecutively. And it says inclusive. What would that look like? Well, we would include 2 and 8, so let's start at 2. 2 is an even integer, so we'd write it down. 2, and then 4, and then 6, and we would include 8. And we have to list them consecutively, so we can't have these all mixed up. We couldn't have 2, 6, 4, 8. It has to be 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's say it says exclusive. Then we would exclude 2 and 8, and we would start at 3. 3 is not an even integer, so we would move to 4, and then 6. 7 would not be an even integer, so we would skip that, and then we would exclude 8, so you would just have 4 and 6.